Welcome back to the Weekly Cup. It's Eric Banghart, Manager of Global Sales, kicking off another edition of the Cup Series. This week, we take a little detour from the traditional positioning of our products in commercial projects. Our own Chris Allen will show you a number of applications and ideas where Inovonics products may be the solution for residential installations. Whether it's the need for more powerful wireless to get through fortified construction materials of large residential compounds, or where the extended range of Inovonics is needed to span large distances, sometimes it makes sense to use Inovonics in residential. As always, please keep those comments and questions coming throughout today's presentation for the Q&A at the end. With that, Chris, take it away.
Okay, thanks, Eric. I'm Chris Allen. I'm the Northeast Regional Sales Manager for Inovonics Wireless. Wireless technology can be used beyond intrusion, and Inovonics works with OEMs to develop products to monitor various types of critical infrastructure. Our customers always surprise us with different ways that they've used our product, and they share those ideas with us. So we're hoping to share some of that with you today. So what we're asking you to do is look past the alarm system and increase the value of the residential burglar alarm panel that you've installed. This brief presentation is going to focus on PIRs, driveway alerts, outdoor motions for pools, outdoor motions for perimeter protection and early warning, protecting the HVAC unit, monitoring barns, sheds, motorcycles, ATVs, and other large toys. Now here's your typical alarm system. You have a burglar alarm keypad, with panel, motion detectors, door contacts, break glass sensors, but all of this is in the house. Typically, you're using wireless for ease of installation or to penetrate tough areas. What we're asking you to do is use wireless now to extend your reach. Now, most of you know our add-on receivers have relay outputs and therefore can connect to anyone's alarm panel. We take 12 volts DC from the panel, sharing that battery backup, or you can put in a 12 volt DC power supply, and we can connect to anyone. Usually, when we're connecting to other people's products, we're using the EN1210 family. It has a 3 volt lithium battery, normally open or normally closed contacts of what it's listening to. It talks to our receivers, 3 to 5 year battery life, and goes down to -4 Fahrenheit. So one of the first installations we'll talk about is a long-range PIRs. I got a call from a customer I've known for decades, and his cousin had fallen on a property inside the pool house. It was 2 days before someone found her. So we were able to devise a system that will cover the whole 5-acre estate, the guest house, the main home, the pool house, down to the lake, and even out to the separate garage. The point here is to reach out to your Inovonics sales rep, and we can help you get your hands on a survey kit so you can figure out what you would need to cover the whole property. At the same time, don't forget that shrubbery will affect the range. So if you do your survey in the summer, it's actually better than if you do it in the winter. If you do it in the winter because you have to get something done, you may want to go out and check it once all the leaves have come back on the trees. Now, Sure Action makes a driveway monitoring system. The probe is buried 6 to 8 inches next to the driveway. It'll cover an area 14 feet across. And you can use this to open up the gates as your customer is leaving their property, or if they want to do some type of vehicle counting. At the same time, if they need to know who's at the door, you can give them a wireless transmitter with a push button, and you essentially have a wireless doorbell that can ring the system in the house and put a long-range camera on it, and then they can know who's coming and going. Now, Optex has embedded our wireless and Extralis as well into their outdoor PIRs and photo beams. You can use these outdoor weatherproof devices for monitoring the pool. At the same time, besides alerting on the keypad, you can also take a relay and trip the DVR and turn a camera on so your customers can look out onto that area. Now, some properties back up to the beach or they back up to the woods. Once again, you can use these outdoor PIRs as an early warning system. They're totally flexible as to how you aim them and what coverage they have. And they can alert on the keypad, turn on a camera, or if you have a smart home, they can even turn on an exterior light. A few years ago, I had to go down to Williamsburg, Virginia. It's not exactly the hood. And someone had gone behind in a townhouse complex and knocked over 3 of the HVAC compressors. They stole at the time, it was about $150 of copper, but they did about $15,000 worth of damage. GRI makes a very simple tilt switch for this called the HVAC 2.2K. And if you use our EN1210 EOL, which normally uses a 2K resistor, you won't need the resistor now because it's built into this tilt switch. It fits inside the HVAC unit. If you take the cover off to get to the copper, you're going to get an alert, and the wiring out to it is totally supervised. You can put our transmitter in a weatherproof box. I recommend either a deep single gang or a 4x4, and our transmitter will fit right in that. The former Interlogics rep has a pontoon boat that he keeps down on the Chesapeake Bay here in Maryland. He used 2 of our transmitters, one on the boat for the door to the boat, and the other because he had a gate going down the deck to the boat. And he would use those in a supervisory capacity so that if someone opened the gate or if someone jumped onto the boat, walking through the door, he would get an alert inside his condo, and then he'd know something was going on. He wasn't using it to dial 911. Now, I don't have a horse, I have a car, but a lot of people do have horses, and we make temperature sensors. So you can put a temp sensor out in the barn and create a high or a low alert. So if it's getting way too warm, or if it's getting below 32 and the water would be freezing up in the bucket where the horses would drink from, then you can create an alarm inside the house to let them know that the barn needs their attention at the time. In the same vein, if you want to monitor the temperature in a greenhouse with a high or a low, you can do that. Stick our transmitter once again in a weatherproof box, and you can use a Honeywell T280R probe and put that out into that wet, humid environment, and it will be fine. Sheds. You can use our transmitters, use your own door contact. This way you can use something with a wide gap. And then we can monitor the doors on the sheds. Now, our transmitters, as I've said, they go down to -4 degrees. If it's going to get much colder than that, I would relocate. But it'll work down. You shouldn't need a weatherproof box in this case because you're putting the transmitter inside the shed. Here in Baltimore, we had people going out to dirt bike rallies, and they would write down the license plates of the people that were racing. And then they would go out into the counties during the week when people were at work, open up the sheds and start stealing dirt bikes. This transmitter would help you stop that. Now, not everyone has a shed or a garage, but they do have expensive toys. So what you can utilize is a pull-apart part where you run the wire or cable, through the wheel or the skid of a snowmobile, and have our transmitter in a box that can be tampered, and then we can monitor that if someone tries to run away with them. Now, some toys are bigger and more expensive than others. I got called down to a farm in Potomac, Maryland. I didn't know there were farms in Potomac, Maryland. I only thought it was lawyers from K Street that were lobbyists in Washington, D.C. But there was a farm, and it had, past tense, an $800,000 combine. Someone had gone into the barn that did not have an alarm on it and literally drove away with the combine. If it had the head on it, it would have been $1 million combine. To add insult to injury, They also stole a truck and a little ATV. So Page Cable makes an industrial type pull-apart device. It can be mounted on the wall. It has our wireless built right into it. And if someone drives, you can run the cable through the bumper. You can add extenders onto those cables. And if someone drives off and the cable pulls, you'll get an alert at that time. Now, Nikki, that's all I have. Are there any questions?